How we doing, everybody? Well, welcome back to another episode of Getting Jiggy with It. I'm Will, and today we're getting it previewed with the final video in our collection overview video series, or whatever we're calling this thing. Basically, I've been going around each of our rooms where we've got games stored and showing you guys what games we have. Why? One is hopefully you can tell me what games to play on the channel. Two, hopefully you can tell me what games to cull. And three, you can tell me what some games in the collection are that, you have and you believe maybe I should add to my collection. I shouldn't add any more games to my collection. Either way, with that said, we're going to go ahead and get the camera flipped over and we'll go through, well, the madness that is the game room where we record all the videos, or where I record all the videos right now. Okay, so we're going to start with this madness here. I'm calling this the table games. I put them on the table. Of course, they're not normally on the table because I'm filming, so this is unusual. These are normally under the table. Most of them is because I didn't have a place for them, or I took them off of a shelf to put another game on the shelf, or in some cases it's new stuff that's come in that I was debating doing unboxings for. So if you see anything that I've not done unboxing for, of course you can let me know. So we will start over here. So Frozen Frontier, I mentioned in the last video, we did a playthrough of this on the channel for the crowdfunding. Finally got my copy. I was debating doing an unboxing before I even started doing content again this month. So if you guys would like to see a full unboxing of the deluxe edition, we have that. Empires of the North, that is out because I'm doing a playthrough this weekend. Although again, based on when you see this video, it's probably already up. Same thing. We've done a solo. We've done a regular playthrough of that. It's a tableau building, engine building, where you're trying to get resources so you can race to be the first one to so many points. Lost Ruins Varnak, of course, I did my solo playthrough of the first two chapters. I'll be doing the solo playthrough of the second two chapters. Deck building game, at least from what I've played, right, the scenarios and the chapters, you have a particular goal or objective you're trying to go through, where you're exploring the ruins, gathering resources to do actions, going up a research track. So lots of things to love in Arnak. These are more probably unboxing style video things. Bella is right under my feet. She does not want me to walk around her. This just came today. Of course, it is a duplicate copy of Witching Hour. This is the crowdfunding one. So again, depending when this video goes up, if you've been waiting in yours, they should be arriving soon. Like I said, this is a duplicate. I also have a couple boxes of the Marvel United combo pack from Amazon that they were selling, which had, I think, the Spider-Verse, the base game, and a Doctor Strange. I think they made the bundle right around Multiverse of Madness. So maybe I'll do some paintings on these, and we'll do these as a giveaway for Extra Life. The next one is Flameforge. So this just arrived yesterday. I honestly don't remember what Flameforge is. I know you get a deck of cards for each character, and you get this cool little mini, and you get to put gems in them, but I, for the life of me, cannot remember Flameforge, but I was going to do an unboxing of that. The Puerto Rico Special Edition came in. There is lid lift, because when you put the acrylic tokens in, it doesn't fit. I guess it's one half one way, one half the other, because if you look at the Castles of Burgundy box, it's a bigger box. Everything fits, but if you don't have all the things to go into that box, you got like a lot of extra space. I guess they tried to split the difference. We will have to see what happens with Agricola. I know they're getting some flack about Agricola. Puerto Rico worker placement game, classic. Somebody's going to have to tell me more about that, because my mind is blanking. This is the fourth video that I'm doing. Dragon Eclipse, I've got everything in these two boxes. I've scaled it down. Same as always, I've probably thrown away inserts and done other crazy things that will make other people severely upset. This is we'll just call it a Pokemon game. You basically are going through, getting dragons, doing adventures with them, and they get abilities, and you catch new dragons and so forth. So it's Pokemon, the adult version game. Did back the new campaign. This has the same play problem as everything else. Minis. I have to paint the minis before I play the game. On this back side, we have Forgotten Waters. We already talked about that in the previous video. This is a Crossroads game. So it's basically a story game where you control characters We didn't show the back on the other one, but you go through the storybook, you control your characters. Each character has a particular role that they're going to do and abilities and so forth, and try to complete the campaign. This one does not have solo. I've heard you can play it multi-handed, but I think it's because you're pirates, right? So you kind of are going against each other. Behind that is Kinfire Chronicles. So, again, love-hate relationship with this. If you've watched my top 50 video, my new games of the year, or top games that I played last year that were new to me, or my Kinfire Delve, I like this, but at the same I don't. Like, I played four-handed, and I felt like the card combo system, just you couldn't get it to work. Or maybe I'm missing a single rule, but it seemed like you couldn't get through your cards fast enough for your teammates to refresh their cards, which means then your lantern doesn't go off. And then the second problem was really the in-between. Like, in between each town phase, you have to go on like a quest, which cool, you get to read story elements and stuff like that. But like the quest was so random and so punishing that by the time you get to the actual thing you're trying to do, I almost felt like I always had between 3 and 5. I don't even know what the maximum number of endurance cards you could have, but I always seemed to have them in at least 2 of the characters. So it was just, it felt punishing before you could even do anything. And then once you were in the battle, it felt like you couldn't do anything. I'm giving a review in the middle of a collection video, but that's Kinfire Chronicles. I've gone through a couple. I could play it again if you guys want to see it on the channel. It would start at about, I think, Act 6 is how far I got. But I'd be willing to play that on the channel if somebody leaves a comment to do so. We will go around to this side. Don't know how the lighting is on this side. There's a Sentinels peeking out because I kept having to take them on and off the shelf for my Marvel United playthrough, and it was getting kind of annoying, so they just kind of hang out there right now. Elder Scrolls, big chip theory game. I've enjoyed it. It did make my top 50 games. You'll have to watch the videos to find out where in the top 50. This is a dice game where you are building up your character by selecting skills. You get more dice, you upgrade those dice and so forth with your experience. You go on dungeon delves and so forth. Theme, maybe if I go play the Elder Scrolls video game, I'll feel a little bit more theme, but to me, it just feels like a good dungeon crawler where you get to upgrade your character. At the very beginning, it's very punishing because I feel like the scaling, and I've heard people say that the scaling is kind of weird, especially from the beginning or when you're not at a even increment of 5, like so level 5, level 10, level 15, level 20, because of the way you have to pull the baddies. But yeah, that's Elder Scrolls. Tidal Blades 2, Rise of the Unfolders. So this is the campaign version of Tidal Blades. It's a storybook campaign game. I forget what the mechanics are for battle. I think it's a 3x3 grid, like a 3x3, so 9 tile grid, and you're moving things around. Definitely want to get that played, but again, painted minis. Wonderland's War, we've played on the channel. I've played off the channel. I feel like there's something there, but I have not, I don't know. It's just not the game that everybody else is saying is a 10. For me, it's a 7, but more leaning towards 6, because if I got to make hard choices and let games go, 6s are what go. But that's Wonderland's War, area majority game, or area battle, area control, with some bag building, and you get these cool chips and powers and abilities, all kinds of fun stuff. I did back the new Kickstarter. Again, glutton for punishment. I will keep backing something while I have the game, because I don't want to miss out on anything if I ever have to sell it, right? I'd rather sell it and have all the pieces. So we are getting Wonderland's Duel. Maybe we'll like that better. And then I am getting the new characters as well. So maybe we'll bring it back to the channel. There is a solo mode going to be introduced too. So maybe I'll try the solo mode to really say, no, this is not for me. All right, and then some more Druid City. It seems like all my Druid City games are out today. Mad Kalla, I read the rules. We just never got to play it. This is a dueling game in the Wonderlands. So you can tell I read the rules. The case is on backwards. Where you are basically going around a rondel. You're dropping off these little shards. For the life of me, I can't remember the rules anymore. And you're basically just trying to whittle down their hit points. So it's a battling game. Tidal Blades Banner Festival. This, again, is a themed game. The game wasn't designed for this system. I believe the designer designed it, and then they threw this theme on it. but you're kind of doing the banner festival, like the races that the previous game, the first game, talks about. So the first game talks about it, but then of course the big bads come. So you're basically going around this and taking actions off of the location you end up, and you go down these little paths and so forth. Seems like a nice game. 2 to 5 players. Just we haven't got to play it yet. Lords of Vegas, and I really hate that linen finish on boxes makes it very hard for filming. Lords of Vegas, I did an unboxing of this, an all unboxing. So this was one of the first hobby games I ever played. I guess what you would consider hobby games when hobby games started. Some guys at work brought it in on the weekends. We used to play board games. This is what they brought in. It's a city building game. So you're basically putting dice out to build Las Vegas and build your Las Vegas Strip and get money. If you're looking for like a Monopoly replacement for your family, this would be a good game for that. Kind of easy, lightweight, easy. It's not a lot of rules overhead. It is now the deluxe edition, and it is heavy as all get out because it's got the poker chips and everything in it. You can see the unboxing. The unboxing, I showed how I got everything to fit in there. Weirwood Manor, I know it got talked about by a lot of people on a lot of channels. We got this as a review copy after we had stopped making content because they already had us on the list to get a copy. So we got our copy. I remember like rooms move and you're trying to like solve a puzzle, but that's about as much as I remember on that. I was going to try to move this, but that's too heavy. And then Clank Legacy 2, already talked about Clank Legacy in the other room, but this is just the second version, so of course we can't play this till we beat the other one. More Clank goodness, minis to paint, things to unlock, lots of fun. So me and Audrey definitely got to play more Clank Legacy. Okay, now we're going to go through what I'm calling the floor games. So these are the games that are just stacked on the floor. The life of a content creator is not glamorous, guys. The first one is Silverwood Grove. So this was a game I was going to pull out and play solo, but then I found out that the rules were bad. So then I went to go print the rules out. And when I went to print the rules out that somebody created on BGG, they're not official rules. It was somebody, a fan made the rules for the publisher based on the FAQs that he provided. I couldn't get it to print right. Like it was printing upside down, left, right. Like I couldn't make it an actual book either way. So I kind of just tabled it for a little bit. This is a tableau building game, real cute animals. I guess in the vein of like Everdell, but maybe a lighter version. But that I don't remember much about it. And like I said, didn't read the rules. Life of Reterra is, they call it a rebuilding game instead of a destruction game. It's by Eric Lang, of course. It is you're trying to lay out polynomial tiles to build a community. And then you have different buildings and things that do different effects. Got it cheap on Target once upon a time. I know there's an expansion for it as well. We like tile laying, so I figured I'd give it a shot. Twisted Cryptids. This is everything that's come out, including the new expansions. Normally I would have done these as unboxings, but I've already condensed everything into one box. It does not fit with the inserts, so there's that. This is I'm trying to remember. I know that like you're trying to find the different cryptids because that's kind of the game. And then there's like, or you are the cryptids, but you're trying not to get caught, I think is what it is. So you're trying to stay away. The other players are trying to get you caught. Very, very common with unstable unicorns, unstable games. A lot of theirs do have that little take that-y, pushy stuff. It's the cuteness, it's the art, it's the what they are. A lot of their games, their games are hit or miss. I either like them or I don't. Nature, I'll be playing that on the channel this week. Talked about Evolution in the other game. This is another game in that genre, that system, because it was an original game that all these other ones are kind of built off of. This is the North Star version. You're basically creating animal groups, and then you just have to feed the animal groups by gaining resources or eating your opponent, different things like that. This big box, oh, you can actually see it. Like I can't see it, Ryan, but this is Redwood. So I mentioned I have the prototype in the other room, which is the base game. We finally got the full copy from Sit Down Games, and so this is the base game and the expansion. It is a kind of a puzzly game where you're trying to figure out views of where certain things are that your cards are telling you to go look for, so you can score points. And sometimes you need to have a tree and a rabbit and the sun all in a line, and they have these different plastic pieces of how your camera is taking the picture, which I don't know how it's going to take a picture around a tree, but it's one of the available things. Really fun game. Like I said, we did a playthrough on the channel. You can check it out. Down at the bottom is Stalker. So I've got everything in Stalker in these 3 boxes. The terrain is in this box because I couldn't get it to shrink anymore. But everything else is in these 2 boxes. Stalker is it's kind of a hidden, not a hidden movement. It's kind of stealth game to a small degree, because if you move and you go and then say you take an action and that action causes noise, then it causes all the other things to kind of look in your direction. So you're kind of wanting to stalk around to complete your objective missions. Nuclear Fallout. I've played the video game. Or no, I haven't played this video game. What video game am I thinking of? There's another Fallout video game that I've played. Not Fallout. But yeah, I want to play this video game too. But yeah, very thematic game. It is made by Awaken Realms, which means lots of minis for me to paint. So again, a reason why I haven't got it off this stack. All right, we will start at the top here. So of course, we need to have us some United in our life. So DC United, this was the retail box, the Batman Hush box. I might take a quick break from the Marvel Megaverse campaign to play this one. But again, I would have to paint a minimum of one of the baddies, right? And probably three of the heroes. I could do a 2-player game if we just wanted to do Joker and then Batman and Robin. I mean, I would be fine with that gameplay. Saves me from having to paint as much. You guys let me know who you'd like to see me go up against. Who do we got? We got Joker, Harley Quinn, Hush, and Controlled Superman through Poison Ivy, who can also be a hero, which just is... It's in here. I get why he's in here, because people are going to want to play a Superman, but I would probably never play that version of Superman as a hero. Well, unless we don't get our other United pledge, the full pledge. Survival of the Fattest we played on the channel. It's a small little, cute little deck building game where you're trying to go out and get food and resources for the animals. Whoever eats the most wins. I don't know. That's probably one I would probably be on the chopping block. Sweet Mess. So I backed this as part of one of Pika's other campaigns or Fantasia Games, one or the other. Forgot all about it. They got this from another company, and so in order to fulfill it, they took over for it. You're basically trying to make pastries, right? It's a pastry competition. So you're just trying to get resources and things to make pastries. I haven't read the rules. I don't remember how exactly it plays. Metal Gear Solid, so this is the pre-order edition, so it's got the big mini of the robot and all that in it. So same thing, minis, haven't painted. It plays like the Metal Gear Solid video game. You have to solve basically a puzzle to get through the stealth environment that they set up for you in the scenario and go through it. I believe it's card-based play. I can't remember, but this is another one that I would probably let go. I don't have much ties to the Metal Gear franchise. And when we talk about stealth espionage games, I've got this. I already showed you Stalker. Shadow Tactics was in my previous video. And then I haven't even gotten to a couple that are on this back wall that we're going to get to. So I have a lot of like stealthy games. So I don't know if this is one that would really need to be kept. Storm Raiders. So I just watched... I think it was Mike DeLisio and they're doing their top 100. They just got through their first 20. I think it was in his video. Cannot remember how this game plays. Arcus is Garfield Games' other studio where they're making, I think Garfield are trying to stick with like the history type themed games, whether they're actually historically accurate or not. This one I think is more their fantasy lines. Yeah, I don't remember. It was a good production. I mean, a really nice looking game. Dragon Saga Origins, so again, think Hero Quest. It's just basically a simple dungeon crawler. I say simple. This one's a little bit more complex than Hero Quest. I actually was working on, if you go out to the Dragon Saga Origins BGG, you'll see that I was actually doing a crossover between this and Hero Quest. I was trying to say, okay, if I only wanted to play one game, could I combine both of them together? So you can go out and check that out. This is Harakiri. So same thing, I was able to condense the entire Kickstarter down to 2 boxes. Most people will not like how I did it. If I don't, for any of these that I've condensed, if you want to see them, they're either on BGG or if they're not on BGG, leave a comment down below and I can take pictures of how I did that. But this is a Japanese style mythology, actually Asian in general, because I know they had some Korean and some Chinese mythology in these as well, depending on the expansions, where you are trying to, I don't know the actual objective. I know you go through a story, and then you go into the story area, and then defeat some bad guys, and you go back into a story, and then you go do story. So it's a story game. It's a story-based campaign game. Simple as that. The bottom is my big white box of Doom. That is Primal the Awakening. Again, everything is in that one box. So I was able to get everything in this one box. This one I do think I've got on BGG, showing how I did that. Now, I did get the new stuff. So the new stuff is they have a new box to fit all the cards. So I got that. It's got new mats for different environments. And there was something else that was new. But I basically picked up all the new stuff, plus picked up the original mat. So that may change my storage a little bit. But long story short, it is, think of Marvel Champions gameplay, where you are deck building, deck crafting, and then you are going up against a big boss. Each big boss has a different way that it plays and interacts. It's a very limited map. I mean, the map is just a circle, and they're pointing one of 4 directions. So you have to figure out how you want to attack the boss without drawing aggro or taking damage yourself. So it's a lot of people's favorite boss battler. Well, I need to get them painted before we can determine if it's my favorite boss battler. This big stack here is Kings of Ruin, regular Tainted Grail, so forth and so on. So this is the big stack of Tainted Grail. I say big stack. I've got it down to 1, 2, 3, 4. I got it down to 5 boxes. So that is 2 all-in pledges down to 5 boxes. Again, nothing is sleeved. Tainted Grail, same thing, big story, episodic adventure game where you are, playing a version of King Arthur, right? They've got a video game of it too, so, you can get the story there if you don't want to have the big board game version. I know Rob's Gaming Channel is currently doing a playthrough of it, which is reminding me a little bit of how it works, but not enough for me to give you a clear explanation. I think if you know what Tainted Grail is, you know what that game is. All right, and then the last of my well, I say the last, I forgot I got some more on the back wall over there. So down on the bottom there, that is, on the very, very bottom, that's Andromeda's Edge. So we did play that on TTS. It wasn't a good experience on TTS because it's just not, when you're live streaming and we're doing it on TTS and I'm having to control things for audio, it wasn't good. But I did go ahead and back the game, got the all-in pledge, did back the new content. So I may either get a solo playthrough before the new content comes or at least when the new content comes. This big box is the Destinies. Yeah, this is Destiny's big box. You can check out the top 50 videos to see where it lands. Destinies is an app-driven story questing game. So you basically have an objective for each story, and then you have to go around, collect things, find things. There are some challenge checks that you'll have to complete and run through. Again, we've got a gameplay on the channel, but that's Destinies. I do have all the new expansions, so we haven't played that yet. Dark Quarter, I got everything Dark Quarter into one box. That one is, I'm amazed it doesn't have lid lift, to be honest, because it's packed. That box is packed. I tried many ways to try to get it optimized, but to no avail. Dark Quarter is a really, it's an adult themed narrative-driven game, right? So you're in the Dark Quarter, Louisiana, checking in some crimes. There's, not to say monsters, like voodoo and magic and different stuff like that going on. I say it's very adult-themed, and the biggest complaint I've heard about it right now is that the script overly use like vulgar language and swearing and stuff like that just because they could, because of the age rating, not because they should. So it almost sounds like a 12-year-old who's finally learned his first swear word and he just keeps saying it in every sentence, is what I've said. I've heard it's still good though, because it is based on the Destiny system, and of course with Fan Writer Game, who makes Final Girl. So still looking forward to getting into it. even if the voice dialogue is a little bit cringy. Teotihuacan City of the Odds Deluxe Set. Picked this up because I've heard it's one of the best T games, so grabbed it. I honestly, for the life of me, cannot remember how it plays. It does say it has a solo mode, so of course I could bring that to the channel. Okay, so now we're going down the last bit of the floor. So this is Merchant's Cove Big Box. So this is everything Merchant's Cove. You know, Merchant's Cove is one of our top 50 games of all time. Again, you can watch the video, see where that lands. But it's not a worker placement. To a small degree, it's worker placement because of the guys coming in to buy stuff. It's an asymmetric game where everybody's playing a different mini game to create goods, and then you create those goods to sell to the people that are coming in. It's very, very nice production, very well done. But that's Merchant's Cove. All right, and then below that in the shadow, we have Emberleaf. So again, Emberleaf I talked about previously. It is I want to say it's like an area control, area majority game, but you're building out cities and towns, and as you do that, you place out citizens. They're little animal citizens. The main mechanic is card-driven, so you are trying to place buildings to unlock characters and points, and then you're also buying more cards or getting more cards so that way your deck, and you put them in your tableau and you move them around to make them interact and get your abilities. Very unique in the way that it plays. We enjoyed our playthrough of it. Bardwood Grove, another one I think Mike DeLisio talked about in his, I guess, between 80 and 100. It's somewhere in that range. It is another one in the Five Realms game, so unfortunately, no more of that. Final Frontiers, no more. But you are a musician, so it's kind of deck building in a way. You're trying to build up your cards and play your cards out in a way to make a song and then score points for how good your song and how good you did. Pueblo is a abstract strategy game where you're trying to stack blocks, and you get points if you can't see your blocks from certain directions, or all directions. I can't remember which. And then the bottom one is the Robinson Crusoe reprint, the collector's edition. Survival strategy game, really brutal. I should probably play it. That's much as I could say. It's got minis, so unfortunately, we're in that same boat. I would have to paint the minis first. This is the weirdest one. So down here on the very, very bottom, that purple box is actually Agamonia. So I've actually got the Agamonia bottom inside the big box. So the big box actually has that, so I don't need that lid anymore. Because if I go down here, see, the box had that insert already, so it kind of works. But yeah, Agamonia, big storybook adventure game. Cannot remember how the combat works. I've heard it's good compared to a lot of the other ones that came out recently. Divinity, this is when, we were buying, I was getting everything Lucky Duck they were making. This is a kind of a legacy game. I honestly don't know how it plays. I know you unlock things as you play, and you put stickers on the board and so forth. Somebody in the comments let me know how Divinus plays. And then the top one here is the Hero Quest game system. So this is everything to date except for the last two things released. Same thing. I've chopped up this box, put a bunch of boxes, put a lot of stuff in here, have it all fitting in here. This is more for nostalgia, because this was, I said earlier that, the Vegas was one of my first hobby games, but I guess in terms of non-Monopoly, non-risk and lifestyle games, risk and lifestyle, or life games, Heroes Quest was my first one. I got Heroes Quest. Me and my buddies played all the time. Actually, just me and my buddy. It was one guy in school that wanted to play it. And we went through a couple of adventures, and it was really fun. I painted the minis back then as well, because I used to do the testers model paints for my models, like my cars and helicopters. But yeah, so this is more nostalgia than anything. I almost guarantee you if I play it today, it's not going to hold as well. But it would be good, I think, to keep. I think I'm keeping it just for, again, to get Lucita into like maybe dungeon crawlers, that this would be a good, easy system. This little guy here, if you're wondering, he's Reaper from Reaper Miniatures. There is a monkey in there. See the little monkey? I need him for Robinson Crusoe, because in Robinson Crusoe, there was a monkey. You had to add them afterwards. Nobody knew you had to add them afterwards. Then they put them up on the shop. They didn't tell anybody to put them up on the shop, and now they're sold out. So that'll be my monkey. Okay, before we get into the cabinets behind me, which is not going to be fun, let's go through the Kallax, which is much easier. So this is a fancy Kallax. I don't know if anybody's ever seen this one. I don't even think they make this one anymore. I love this one because of the different sizes. I think I've mentioned it in our videos when this was our backdrop. But the reason it can't be my backdrop now is it's on a sidewall. So Dice Throne Marvel is all we have. I don't have the other Dice Throne stuff. I was going to, but I'm glad I didn't jump out of that rabbit hole because they keep coming out with more. I'm good with just Dice Throne Marvel, and then there it is, Dice Throne Missions. So again, one of my favorite games of 2025, new to me games. Dice Throne in general, but then the Missions expansion really ups it. So again, watch the top 50s to see where that ends up. We have Astronauts, and this is Astronauts and Invincible. This is just the player boards. I don't know if you can see behind there, but there's a card. Yeah, there you go. There's a card tray back there that has all of the cards in it. With the new expansion, that storage may be out the window as well now. But Astronauts, deck building game, very unique, built on the now I'm drawing a blank. Aeon's End, I think. No. Yes? System. Did a playthrough on the channel. Went through four chapters or 4 different excursions. So you can definitely get an idea of how this plays from those 4 videos. Comic Hunters, this is the original Brazilian edition, which I have printed and glued the English stuff that we need on top of it. We did a playthrough of this. It's a set collection game, auctioning game where you're trying to collect comics that are worth the most money. Nice. We played it at 2-player. I want to play at a higher player count before I say that I want to get rid of it. The Disney shelf right here. So we have Chronicles of Light. Have not played that. Cannot remember how it plays. I know there's like darkness going across the map and you're trying to stop it. The Haunted Mansion we did play on the channel. I remember you went around in a circle. That's about it. Disney Sidekicks. I got this. It's a Spin Master game. You'd think it'd be easy, but from what I've heard, it is over-tuned for its target audience, which is what's given it bad reviews. But I do not remember how it plays. I think it was another one of those Target buy one, get one half off, or buy 2, get 1 free, whatever deals that they do. Mythic Mischief, again, another one of my favorite games. This is a abstract strategy game where you are trying to prevent yourself from getting caught and try to get your opponents caught. So we do have the first box and the second box. I did not consolidate them for now. I'm debating what I'm going to do when the 3rd volume comes out. My only disappointment is they went with this shorter box now, and this bigger box will never be available. If somebody buys today, they actually will have 3 smaller boxes because they, to replace the expansion characters that are in here plus the volume 1 characters. So I think it's volume 1, appendix, and volume 2. But yeah, very fun game. Again, we have a playthrough on the channel of that. It's a little Star Wars Empire game. I honestly don't know anything about it. It's an old Fantasy Flight game. Bought it because of Star Wars and we needed stuff for May the 4th. We just never got that played. More Star Wars Unlock. I mentioned Unlock, another one. It's escape room games, kind of like I said, I think of it like as point and click. You look at a picture and you click on the things like you would in a game. You collect the item, then you can use that item to then go to the next thing. It is app driven, so you go into the app and you type what you find, and then it tells you the next steps. Star Wars deck building game. I call it Star Realms meets Power Rangers, right? Because you've got a track that you're going back and forth. You have a common area where the baddies hurt you if you don't take out the baddies, or the opposite side. You have bases that you're trying to attack, kind of like Star Realms. I didn't find it any more or less fun than those other 2 games. So to me, the theme itself doesn't help. And then all the expansions are not fully combinable. And what I mean by that is you can buy another expansion and then you could play the Rebels versus whatever faction, the Clone Troopers. I don't know what's in the other faction, right? You could do that, but you can't like mix them all together. And like when I buy like deck building games and I get all this fun content, I just want to smash it all together and see what kind of madness I can do. You can't really do that with these. So they have 2 main boxes. They have a mini expansion for, I think, just the Mandalorians. So it's just a Mandalorian pack. And then they have a new one coming out with, I think, 2 more factions. So, but that's Star Wars deck building game. Villainous, so we have Star Wars, Marvel, and Disney. Again, I've got everything that's come out so far consolidated into these boxes. Some of them are pretty empty. I think this one's almost empty still because there hasn't been that much Star Wars. Toss the inserts. Get rid of them, guys. You don't need them. I've tossed the inserts. We like the Villainous series. I like Star Wars the least because I don't like that the way they changed it up was just adding a second resource, which I feel is just fiddly, right? Because now you have to manage 2 resources to be able to play your cards. Marvel is our favorite Villainous, and that's because the Fate deck is shared. So I feel like that's more thematic. You're all in the same universe, so you're all fighting the same guys. There's also shared events that you guys can try to overcome to get a benefit. I like this system better. And then your Disney, right? Disney Villainous is the OG. All of them are the same. You play a villain. A villain has a particular objective they're trying to do, like Cruella de Vil is trying to get all the puppies. You have to go through your deck. The only problem we've run into is it does run long due to the fading, because you can just keep fading back and forth sometimes, which messes up the other player, so it's got that take that. But 2, I think it's maybe I'm going to say it's a player issue. It's our issue. We don't like to discard. We're just so used to so many games where getting rid of all your cards is a bad thing, right? Just tossing cards for no apparent reason is a bad thing. We want to hold on to them because we might need them. And in this game, you kind of don't want to do that. But that's the Villainous. The rest of our Star Wars, we have Star Wars Clone Wars. It's basically pandemic Star Wars. You're going around trying to stop the clone troopers. I can't remember what the mechanic is that you're playing with. I think it's cards still. But we have a playthrough on the channel of that. Star Wars Talisman, same thing. We have a playthrough on that. I will probably be calling that, same as the Harry Potter that I mentioned in the last video. It just, if somebody knows some house rules to make the game fun and less luck driven, I mean, I get the dice, and they've even got new rules in the new version of Talisman that's supposed to help with the dice. But I've even played with those rules, and they don't seem to help. So that is Talisman. Star Wars Destiny, I think I would like that game as a game in itself, not as a collectible card game like they sold it. You're basically rolling your dice to get action points, and then you have cards that you can power up to basically battle against the other player. I think if they took the Destiny system and maybe made it a co-op game or something like that, I think that'd be a really fun system. Again, we have a playthrough of that on the channel. And then we go down to our Tiny Epic games. So Tiny Epic Blast Off, I haven't played. We got it a long time ago as a review copy for an Extra Life game day where we were playing Tiny Epic games. We just never got to play that one. So I don't know what it is. Tiny Epic Pirates is a pick up and deliver game, just in a tiny box. So playthrough of that on the channel. Tiny Epic Cthulhu, you're trying to stop Cthulhu? I don't know how. Again, Tiny Epic game. I usually just hit the back button. Fantasy Realm, Star Trek Missions, and Remix are all your Fantasy Realm games. Again, Remix is the most thematic for me. I didn't mind Missions, but basically Fantasy Realms is a draw a card, discard a card. You're trying to get the best point value based off of comboing those cards in your hand. So you have like 7 card hand. And once you have that, then whoever has the most points wins. Exit Lord of the Rings. I mentioned this one with the other Lord of the Rings game. I bought this so maybe my dad would want to play it with us. I forget to bring it out when he's down. And he doesn't ask to play games. So, I'm not going to think about pulling it out. But yeah, just an exit game. You're trying to solve the mystery or the puzzle that's in the box. So I did get a copy of Brass. This is not the fancy smancy with the nice, what do I call them, clay poker chips. But it is Brass. I bought it because everybody's supposed to have a copy of Brass, but we've never played it. I don't know if we'll like it, if we won't like it. It is a worker placement through Industrial Revolution, right? You're trying to build up your different ages, go from ship to rail to whatever. And I think make goods to make points. I don't know. But yeah, Brass. Wacky Racers, I got that along with all this other Hanna-Barbera, DC, Warner Brothers stuff. This was just able to pick up. It's a racing game. That's as much as I know off the top of my head right now. Dashingly and Muttley, they're for, what can they be used in? They can be used in Scooby-Doo and Mayhem, so you can use it in both games. Scooby-Doo is it's a mystery solving game. So you're trying to go around the board and capture whatever the big bad is. This has texture because it glows in the dark, if I remember correctly. Again, have a playthrough in the channel. I don't remember enough to kind of help you guys understand what it is. You either know or you don't, I guess. And then the Mayhem is a battler game where you're going through the tiles that are placed out. These are combinable. You have actions that you can do. There's dice rolling. So again, the Mayhem dice is involved, where events and things happen. You have special abilities. So like you can lay traps. So then when the people go to the traps, they take damage. But yeah, that's Mayhem. Down here in the lower, we have Unfair. I've never played Unfair. We've played Unfair, but we've played Funfair. We've never played Unfair. So I can tell you what Funfair is, and I think Unfair is the same. It just has unfair cards, like Take That cards, which again could just be taken out if you don't like that. But you're trying to build a theme park by placing cards on top of each other to score points, right? So each card you add can only be added maybe to a certain type of card, or maybe you have a point scoring that if you have a restroom with your ride, right, because people are going to throw up whatever, then you get more points. So that's what you're doing. It's all with cards. Unfair has a bunch of expansions where they have different themes. They were going to go through the entire alphabet, but I think Good Games Publishing had some issues in the last couple years, so I am very uncertain about Unfair's future. Smash Up Bigger Geekier Box, that's Smash Up, pretty much. We have everything Smash Up to date, and then we've got everything else in order that we don't have. Smash Up is, as it says, you're going to smash up 2 decks together of 2 different themes. They have different abilities and different things that they do. And what you're trying to do is take control of different locations by breaking the point value. You and your opponent, whoever scores the most gets the most points. Whoever scores second gets the next. Very easy to get into game, but it does have a lot of deep strategy. And I mean, the people that like really play that game can figure out all the strategic points. Down on the bottom, we have Unconscious Mind. So Fantasia Games, very beautifully produced game. I know you're trying to complete objectives. It's worker placement. You've got your ego and id, and I'm lost for words right now. I cannot remember the rest of it to save my life. But yeah, the theme's good. The art's great. It's worker placement, so I figured why not? We'll give it a shot. On the bottom is Etherfields. That is, I wanted to double check, that is everything Etherfields. So I got everything Etherfields down to 2 boxes, basically. Etherfields is I don't even know how to call this. It is like a surreal dream. You have miniatures, right? You have cards. You're trying to explore the dream, but it doesn't quite make sense. If you leave that area and then come back later, you might find more stuff because of something you found in another dream. It's just a very thematic game. I know it had a lot of mixed reviews, but that was like one of the first Awaken Realm games I think I backed when I think they did the reprint, or I got it maybe from a third party before they started scalping and making them expensive. But yeah, that's Etherfields. This is all Nemesis, so all 3 Nemesis games, 1, 2, 3, is condensed down into 3 boxes. Let me double check. Yep. All Nemesis in 3 boxes. I do have a 4th box, and that's got all the terrain for all 3 of them in it. Nemesis, depending on the version, can either be co-op, solo. Most of them have a trader mechanism in them, and you're basically just going through starships trying to take out aliens. It's Aliens, Aliens 2, and Aliens 3, the video or movie board game. But that's Nemesis. Same problem. Lots of minis. Haven't painted any of them. Haven't played it. I think this might be the last of my Awakened Realms, and that's Tamashii. So Tamashii, it reminds me of Bullet because you have these rows of pattern building that you're trying to do, but beyond that, I literally cannot remember what else Tamashii does. So So yeah, I may or may not even like that. Again, Pretty Minis. Pretty Minis makes me hit the buy button. And Awakened Realms, Pretty Minis, most of the time make me click the buy button. But that's Tamashii. We have Sky Tier Horde. So I mentioned that in my new to me games. I like it, but I do feel like there is a very steep difficulty with the pre-built decks, which means to really play this game, you kind of got to know the game. It's a lane battler or tower defense where you're going to play cards. The portal is going to release enemies into your way. You have to attack them. They're going to attack you. It's a 1-to-1 attack. You want to defeat the portals and the big boss if there's one before it destroys your castle. I like the game. I like the gameplay. It's just hard. Even on easy, it's hard. Okay, the next one I'm just going to do is 4, and that is the Adventures system. So unfortunately, there will not be any more of this. And that's kind of sad because the developer or the designer, he actually posted some of the other characters they had planned for a follow-up game. So there was going to be more. Basically what the Adventure system is, it's a 1 versus mini game, or it does have a co-op type mode now. I would probably only ever play co-op or solo. And it's a dice battler where you're battling against the bad guys. I think both of them have a mode where you can play as the good guys and you can play a scenario against the bad guys. It has scenario books in it. You lay out the map, you play with the Automa deck, and then you attack and battle with the dice. So, got all 4 of those. Guess what? Minis. Guess what? That's why I haven't played it. Command of Nature. So again, another unstable games. I cannot remember how this plays or what it is. I know it's like magical type stuff, but again, cute art, cute meeples game. Command of Nature. We will eventually get it played. If anything, we'll get it played off camera at some point. Because like I said, not Awakened Realms, the unstable games are usually hit and miss for me. We have to go up a little bit. I missed all this. I missed all of this. Natura is a civilization building game with cards? Question mark. This looked interesting. It looked fun, which is why I backed it. But now I can't remember what it is. That's a problem. See, do not back games if something looks interesting, because then when you get it, you don't even remember what it is, and it's not interesting to you anymore. Godspeed was another one of those games I mentioned in the other videos that are the local game shop here. There was only one, which is just crazy. It went out of business, so they were just giving up games for basically 80% off. This was one of them. I don't know anything about it, to be honest. Fate Forge Chronicles of Khan is it's a story-driven co-op adventure. So it's basically an adventure game. It's got chips. You're walking through, doing battle, unlocking cards. It's got story cards and story elements in it by Mighty Boards. I've got the new expansion content too. I would say this doesn't have minis, but unfortunately I did buy the boss minis. But I think there's only 4. So I could technically get that painted pretty quickly, even if I just do like a slap chop paint job with speed paints or just do a wash. I'd be perfectly fine with that. So if you guys want to see Fate Forge, leave a comment and I will see about getting those painted quickly. I might not even do a stream with it because technically I can just prime it, slap on some speed paint and call it a day. The next one is Bear Mountain Camping Adventure. This was their first game and people were really afraid of it. It's a Tableau game. I honestly cannot remember. Let me move Rewild out. Let me flip this one over. This one I backed. I did not back the second game because they started... So for those of you not aware, there's a marketing company for crowdfunding campaigns who thinks it's a good idea to make people pay $1 or $5 before the campaign ever launches as a reserve to get the free bonus item. So when their second game came out and I didn't get the free bonus item, I said, nope, no thank you. But yeah, so this one here, it's card-driven. Collect camping activities, upgrades, new campers, strategic journey your way through the board. Yeah, that doesn't help me. Now I will say I did not back their second game because they upset me. But because I bought this one, I did back, I think they just recently had a mini expansion they released. So unfortunately I did order the mini expansion for the same reason I mentioned before. I don't want to have part of a game if I ever have to sell the game. Rewild, South America, again, Triceratops, most of their games I've liked. They do a good production. This one here, you're trying to rewild animals into zones to score points. So just beautiful production all the way around. And of course, it's Rewild South America. Where is Colombia? South America. This is my final girl. It's nothing in here yet. I'm going to move it into here. But this is all my final girl. A lot of people don't like what I did. I don't care. I don't have the room. So what I did is basically I have thrown away all of the boxes. So I basically have just stacks of the maps in here. And then I have all of the stories themselves inside of baggies. And then I have the miniatures related to those. So the bad guys in their baggies. The reason for this is I'm going to do some tuck boxes. I'm going to make some tuck boxes for each story and put them in here because when Season 4 comes out, I won't have room in here anymore for that. I do want to get this played. Same problem. They're minis. Now, here's the thing. If I play the game with the meeples and I feel like I'm not missing anything, would I ever go back and paint the minis? I have debated whether I actually want to paint a mini like this, right? Full color, or just do a wash based on what they are. The other problem I have is I don't like the mix of meeples and minis. So I was thinking, how can I use the final girls as the extra victims? But if I make all the final girls the same color, that's kind of hard to do. So like I was looking for base rings, all kinds of stuff. I just can't figure out what I want to do. So that's why it's not been played. Again, I'm playing solo now. This Oddity would never play with me. It is a solo game. So if you guys want to see it and tell me to play with the meeples, I'll play with the meeples. I don't have any of the new boxes because I'm going to wait for the Season 4 and just get it all together so I can throw away another Ultimate box. It's usually cheaper is the problem. This is my Cloudspire box. It is empty. It does have an equal though. Where's my... Oh no, you got to pull that off first. But yeah, Cloudspire box. It is empty because my Cloudspire pledge has not arrived yet. So, Cloudspire, for those that are wanting to know, is a lane defense game. You're basically putting out towers. Your towers can shoot. You've got characters. You're going to send down the lane. So think of... I guess it's kind of like a MOBA. It's the lane defense in a MOBA. And you're trying to stop the bad guys on the other side. It does play solo. That's the reason I got it, because I backed this once I knew I was going to probably be playing more solo games on the channel, even though I did never start doing that. And now it finally came when, well, I did start doing that. So if you guys want to see I would say the new factions in Cloudspire, I would try them, but I don't know the difficulty range. Like, I don't know if the new ones are more difficult than the old ones. Somebody can let me know in the comments on that one. Okay, the other Kallax, and you don't know what I have to do for this, because there's like no space here between this Kallax and the board game table. So at the top, you have Explorers of Navoria. It's Drata Games. I like Drata Games most of the time, so usually I'll back their stuff. I don't remember how that plays at all. I don't remember if it has a solo mode either. It is 2 to 4 players, so no, it does not have a solo mode. So, but it's pretty. That's all that matters. I don't remember. Stranger Things. Think of like a pandemic style game. I like this. It's very interesting. There are these stack of chips, and you have to overcome those stacks. You have hit points, right? So if you take too much damage, then you lose the game. It's just difficult. I think they overshot their target audience for who this game should be for, because this was a retail game. This wasn't like a mass-produced CMON Kickstarter. It's honestly what CMON should do a lot more of. But I think when you produce games like this for hobbyist gamers, and then it goes to somewhere like Target, you're not getting more sales, because it misses the mark. So then, well, now you know why they have financial troubles. Next down, I guess we're going down instead of across this time, is Marvel United. So that is my storage. If you guys want to see my Marvel United storage, I can do a video on that. But those are all the cards. This is a fake box. You know, like my nice little fake face plate there. This is where the Sentinels normally live. They live there. This box is all of the villain tiles, I think. And then this is all the location tiles. And then the bits box. So it has all the acrylic tokens and all are in that one. So yeah, I basically got it down to this. The other big minis go here, like Fing Fang Foom and Goliath. But yeah, once DC comes, I don't know what I'm going to do. Let's go up before I go down, I guess. Tiwanaku. I've talked about Tiwanaku a lot lately. Very fun little game. It is a puzzle game where you're trying to figure out what is in a location and what grows in that location. And it's got this cool little wheel mechanic where you're revealing a bunch of little discs. Each one's a different setup and gameplay. I definitely want to play this solo on the channel to show you guys that because I've been talking so much about it. This, I forget what this is. I forget. I think this was a reprint of something. Yeah, Hyong. This was a reprint of Hyong. I think it's an area control game. Yeah, 5 different leaders, governors. I got this because it's a Reiner Knizia game, and it's it's highly regarded. And so whenever someone says, "Oh, it's a Reiner Knizia game, it's highly regarded," well, then you kind of back it out of habit. Spiderweb. This is another Brazilian game. I have not translated this one yet. I, for the life of me, cannot remember how it plays, but I picked this up to make it worth it when I picked up Comic Hunters. So that's where this came from. It's the same thing. What Buccaneers. So it's the same. Here to Slay is a unstable games. It's probably my favorite unstable game. It is one of the first ones we have. They are making a new one, Here to Slay Dungeons. My hope is that something in these can be used in that to make that game bigger. The only bad thing right now is they said that they're releasing the Here to Slay Dungeons as 3 different sets. And they're all compatible, so you can cross-compatible. You're still going to buy all 3 of them. It's still going to cost the same, but they say it's to keep the price down. The problem is you have like druids and warriors and rangers. So each box is only, I think, going to contain 3 of the classes. So, like, you can't even get all the classes for one game of the dungeon. You have to buy them all to get all the classes. Either way, Here to Slay is a basic card game where you're trying to slay the monsters. You win the game by either recruiting enough heroes to your party or by slaying enough monsters. There's a new Banner Saga, which adds the win condition of gaining so many banners, basically, of each faction, is another way to win. Unfortunately, there is no solo mode. They've never made solo modes for most of their games. Aboria is currently up on crowdfunding, so this tells you when I'm filming this video. I will be playing this next week, or next week to me. You guys have probably already seen it. This is it's an interesting worker placement. I didn't talk about it in my new games to me, and I didn't talk about it in my top 50 games because I actually rated my initial play a 6. So this was already on the chopping block. So we'll see if that changes when I play it again. A 6 isn't a bad game, right? I mean, that's still above average. But it felt like something was missing. It didn't feel like I could accomplish everything I wanted to, and that might have been because of it being solo and an automa. So I wanted to play with 2-player with Audrey. But basically, you got these tracks on each side of the board, which are moving. You get off the track whenever you want, and you get to take all the actions as you go down. You gain tiles, and the tiles build out like a habitat, and then you can go and capture the exotic wildlife and put them into the habitats. So again, very interesting, very bright. I actually like the art and the style a little bit, but I can see where like it's got a lot going on. That's its biggest complaint for most people is that. So somebody was selling a all-in Imperial Assault. So there was a G.I. Joe game that was being built, I think Operation Cobra or something. And the problem was I was going to back that. But people kind of were raising concerns because a lot of it had the smellings of another company, Night Games, that has stiffed people, right? I backed and we did a playthrough for the Batman Arkham game that they were doing. I've got the Harry Potter game I got so I can play with my sister. She loves Harry Potter. And I don't think I'm ever going to see that game. At least I got the refund on the Batman game. So when those concerns were being raised, now again, I've seen the updates recently. I think the game is going to get made. I think people are going to get their game, so yay. I decided to go look. I still hadn't unbacked. I went to look for Imperial Assault because I heard that's the system was based off of. Somebody was selling their whole thing. I was able to work a deal with them. I got everything basically in these 2 boxes because the rest of them, I'll show you when we get down there, is in a tray. So the rest of minis are outside of the box. Oh, which reminds me, I think I skipped some games over there. We'll have to go back to the floor games because I missed some. But yeah, Imperial Assault is a normally it's a multiplayer game, but there is a app on BGG that'll do all the bad guy stuff for you, and it's a Star Wars dungeon crawl. It's the easiest way for me to explain it. It's a Star Wars dungeon crawl. Oh, I have to come down because my arms are getting tired. Here is my Massive Darkness everythings. So I do have everything Massive Darkness. I spent way more than I should have. I had the opportunity to get it for when Massive Darkness 2 came out for the original Kickstarter price, and I just didn't pull the trigger for whatever reason. And so I had to go get everything aftermarket. I've spent a lot. I really hope I like it. I think I will. This is, I know like Tom Vassell, this is one of his favorite dungeon crawlers. We like asymmetric powers. This has asymmetric powers. I like Zombicide for what Zombicide is, and this is very similar, dice chucking, but you get those special abilities from the different characters. So I have everything here. I'm with the rest of you guys. I have backed the new campaign. I hope it delivers. Again, if it doesn't, I got plenty of content here, but this plenty of content all needs painted. All right, so let's go here. We have a couple more Marvel games. Marvel Dagger is, again, it's a pandemic game. I think I talked about it in my top 25 new games to me last year. My biggest gripe, honestly, with this is there's not much luck mitigation because you only have so many actions you can perform, and there's not a real way to adjust that. The second thing is the size. They made this way too big for what it is. And again, if I want a pandemic-style game, there are other pandemic-style games. I think where a lot of people were thinking was this was going to be more like a Marvel Champions / pandemic-style game, and it really isn't. It plays nothing like Marvel Champions. Age of Heroes, we did a playthrough on the channel. I like it. It's a worker placement game. It's based on another system. I'm drawing a blank. Where you are choosing your action, you're upgrading the board through playing cards down to the board, and then you go and you send your characters on missions to try to complete the missions by having particular resources to complete them. Cannot remember much more than that. Marvel Strike Teams is, I don't know if it's based on the HeroClix system, but it is by WizKids, who does HeroClix. It is a versus game. So again, probably not a game that I'll keep because it doesn't have a solo capable mode. Maybe somebody's got a bot online, but you are setting up a map. The map has a mission. You go through the mission as whatever characters you decide to pick and see who wins. I can't remember how the combat is. I can't remember if it's dice or cards. But again, like I said, we have a playthrough of that on the channel. I'm about to knock over my TV to do this one. So Mutant Insurrection, I want an X-Men game. I want a good X-Men game. Now again, I've got Marvel United, so I've got all the Marvel X-Men I ever need, but I always wanted a good X-Men game. This is not it. It's good. It's unique. You're basically going around and going on missions. You put your people on missions. You roll dice. It's kind of a Yahtzee-esque. You can roll your dice up to 3 times to try to get the symbols that you need. But again, if I'm going to roll dice 3 times and I'm going on missions, now I would rather play Dice Throne Missions rather than Mutant Insurrection. Leviathan Wilds, this is one I do need to bring the channel play solo. You are adventurers. In a solo game, you're playing 2 adventurers. You mix their decks together. And then you have to take actions to crawl up the Leviathan to get rid of the bad infections that are happening on them. It's got storybooks, a bunch of different characters, a bunch of different adventures. Yeah, that's about all I can say for that. I don't know much. It's hard for me to explain that one. I keep putting my finger there. Sorry, guys. Another set of small box games. We have Solar Storm. This one is I would say like a pandemic game in a box, because you have different rooms of your ship that you're trying to protect. Every single turn, some kind of event happens. You have to move your people around the ship and perform actions and spend goods and resources to try to repair the ship. And you're trying to get all of these segments powered up so that way you can win the game, right? Get the ship powered back up so you can, I guess, warp out of there. Very unique. I actually decided to get rid of, I think, Tiny Epic Defenders, because these felt the same. This just felt more accessible. Tiny Epic Dungeons, we've played on the channel a couple times. It's just a small dungeon crawler in a box. That's really all it is. Tiny Epic Vikings is, I think it's an area control game. Maybe Mythic, I think like Mythic Battles is what they were comparing it to. Again, I don't know. We've not played it. Tiny Epic Kingpins, you're trying to go around the board or the cards in the city to try to find the bad guy, right? The mob boss. So you're performing actions, driving around, trying to deduce who they are. It's got the old school red magnifying binocular type thing where like you put it over top and you get to see secret messages. And then Tiny Epic Zombies is basically a tiny zombicide game, I guess, more or less. You're in a mall, or you're in whatever scenario they put you in, whatever map, and you're just trying to survive the number of waves of the zombies coming through, right? Walk around, get resources, pick up better weapons, while trying to complete whatever the objective is. So basically a mini zombicide. All right, and then over here we have the Masters of the Universe, Clash for Eternity games. Same thing, everything's in 2 boxes. I've consolidated all the expansions down to 2 boxes. And in this case, they are all in the boxes. I haven't pulled these minis out and stored them somewhere else yet. It is a battle game, dice battle game. Your characters have special abilities. You're moving around the map. They're going to make it's called the Power System. They were going to make a whole system out of this. And now, who knows? Because I think it would be cool if they would have kept going, right? If they could have talked to G.I. Joe. What's Mattel? But go through other Mattel properties. Barbie. We'll do He-Man versus Barbie. But yeah, went all in on that. So I have all that. Have my big old castle that needs painted. For my minis, at least while we're over here, so this is my Assassin's Creed minis, which was one of the boxes I said I ended up missing over there that somehow I skipped. And then these are all my Marvel Zombies minis. Fill up all of that. More Marvel Zombies. This is Marvel Zombies, and it's empty underneath. Lots of dust, sorry. And then this is all of my Star Wars on the top. And then the middle, this is Assassin's Creed on those 2 shelves. So this is what I do with the minis. These are shelves from IKEA. They're letter trays. I currently don't have these magnetized, but if you magnetize them, right, then they'll stick a little bit better so they don't come wobble around. Okay, so this is probably the hardest to film. I have to currently be under my table shake, guys. So this will be fun. Probably won't stay down here long. Won't give big explanations. So Clank, all of our Clank games. So regular Clank Catacomb, or regular Clank and Clank Catacombs. Again, I've talked about it. It's in my top 50. Deck building game where you're trying to go on an adventure, get your artifacts, and get out before you, well, die. As simple as that. Very entry weight, very approachable, easy to introduce new people. I played it with my cousin. He got it, no problem. Then we have all of the Zombicide. So this is everything Zombicide: white, green, black, red, frozen. The only thing, there are a couple characters I've now removed because I culled down to just like, I don't even know how many. The base game characters plus a couple expansion characters. Otherwise, all the zombies I've got, all the other stuff. I don't have a lot of the scenery, but the scenery I do have, I keep somewhere else. But Zombicide, go around, have a mission, try to complete the mission, throw dice, try to kill the zombies. Grab loot, wash, rinse, repeat. More Zombicide. So this is the Undead or Alive. Same thing, haven't painted any of it. This was the first Zombicide I ever got, and then they started releasing more. And so now this isn't even on my... This isn't even on my have to keep list. It's just because I now have this, right? And so if anything's got a Marvel theme on it, that's staying forever. So Marvel Zombies, you already saw the minis are outside. So I've got everything Marvel Zombies in that one box. Fromage, I almost feel like I'm not even going to ever open this and play this. They made another Kickstarter so quick after this one. And then I hadn't even played it. The new Kickstarter didn't interest me, so I didn't back it. But it has a unique mechanic with a wheel in the center. So you have to, things have to age, you know, because it's cheese. So it takes turns before you can maximize what you're doing, getting your points. So it seemed like a neat mechanic. I don't know about it. Earth, another one of our top games. You are building out your engine. You're planting flora and fauna, trying to optimize your engine so that way when you fire off one card, it gives you the resources maybe to fire off another card later on in your tableau. Everybody gets to do something on every turn, so it's not like a lot where it's like you're waiting for the other person's AP to finish before you can do anything. You're going to be able to do your own little thing on each turn. So that's, I think, why we like this better than some of the other ones we play, because a lot of the other ones is like, okay, you take your turn, I'm sitting here waiting, I'm still sitting here waiting. Oh, you just fired off this massive engine with all these cards and all these combos, and I'm still sitting here waiting. This one, you're still going to be waiting sometimes, but everybody gets to do something. On the bottom, of course, is Santorini. So we had Santorini, had it fully painted, gave it away. So this is the new Pantheon edition where they've smoothed out a lot of the edges. And then, of course, the Riddle of the Sphinx, which is the campaign scenario. This is one of Oddity's favorite games. So, of course, we had to back it again. The Riddle of the Sphinx is solo, but I would not dare play that game without Oddity. So if you guys want to see that, got to paint the minis first. But then maybe I can convince Oddity to come on a stream and we'll play through the Riddle of the Sphinx. All right, so these are the Sea of Legends. Again, I've talked about these in my top games. It is a pirate adventure in a box. You're basically taking on a captain, going on story missions through an app. There's all kinds of interconnectivity, which is why you need the app, between which pirates you choose, which pirates everybody else choose, your lover, your nemesis, which of the baddies you're going up against that are going to try to take over the Caribbean. Just very thematic and very well done. Again, we've got playthroughs of every single baddie from the first two expansions. And those two boxes basically contain all three expansions, all three seasons. Chaos Cove I backed, and I think it's another one that I backed because of the art. I do not have a clue what the game's about, so I'm just going to move on. Necromolds was a very unique take on a miniatures tabletop war game. I just thought it was cool. It's just that. It's a miniature war game. You're on one side, the other people on the other side. The uniqueness is you're building your armies out of one container of Play-Doh. So you take the Play-Doh, you mold your army, and then you battle. And then they have these rings, so when you kill your enemy, you get to squish them with the ring. It seems fun. I'm going to have a lot of fun playing that with Lucita when she gets older. Starcadia Quest. We have never played Starcadia Quest correctly. It is a PvPvE game. Again, cute chibi minis. A little bit easier entry point than going Arcadia Quest because, you know, there was just what was made. I got it off of eBay for, I think, less than, I think it was new, and I got it for less than Kickstarter prices. But you're basically just trying to complete a mission. Their event deck that comes out, new bad guys spawn. You're trying to complete whatever that objective is and then make your way back to your ship. We play it more cooperatively, but in the PvPvE, of course, you could go get the objective and the other person at the table could shoot you, or the alien could shoot you, and you drop the objective and you know, now they can pick it up. So that is Starcadia Quest. All right, so here is our, we'll call this our cute shelf. So first we have Flamecraft. Flamecraft is a worker placement with dragons where you are trying to help artisans. So you collect goods, place a dragon, you get to fire those dragons off, get resources or rewards, and then you're trying to just complete objectives. Very simple, very lightweight. We've got multiple playthroughs on the channel. Yeah, definitely a keeper. Dog Park is another, now I can't remember. I don't want to call it a worker placement because I can't remember if it's a worker placement. But you're trying to get sets of dogs, like it's a collection game. I'm just completely drawing a blank now. But we have a playthrough on the channel. You can go check it out. That's Dog Park. That one probably stays just because, you know, dogs. Critter Kitchen, another cardboard alchemy game where you are trying to do stuff and things happen, and it's got beautiful art and maybe overly produced, but I don't care. I got it. I would love to tell you what you're supposed to do, but now I can't remember myself. But we haven't played it yet, which is another reason why I can't remember how it plays. Post-Human Saga is another post-apocalyptic style game. This is a Mighty Boards version. It is a competitive tactical survival adventure for 1 to 4 players. How can it be competitive if you play 1 player? Either way, post-apocalyptic, you're going to have a scenario, you're going to go through different factions and stuff, you're going to change up how the game plays. I backed this about the same time as I backed Maximum Apocalypse, where I got them roughly all around the same time. All right, and then on the bottom we have Rising Sun. So Rising Sun is a area control style game with negotiation. I got it before I realized it didn't have a 2-player mode. I just liked the theme. I liked the Asian theme. I liked the concept of it. I felt like, oh, this is a better game than Risk, but we've never been able to play it because you need more than 2 players. Online, I think there are some 2-player variants which may work, where I think you basically have somebody's made like a bot to control a third faction. So maybe we could give that a try. I don't know if there's a solo variation. I don't think this would work very well at solo. But same thing, I've consolidated all the way down into 2 boxes, and no, that's not with a fancy smancy insert. Okay, the 2 boxes I forgot over here on the floor. One is Earth Under Siege Flashpoint, which, actually I forgot a couple around this corner too that was behind boxes. All right, so we'll go through all those. It is when I was thinking about this is another hidden movement type game where you're trying not to get caught. I guess I say hidden movement, but you're not hiding your movement from another player. You're hiding your movement from the game itself. You're just in space. It's a space version. Assassin's Creed, another hidden game where, well, you're playing from Assassin's Creed. Same thing, I got everything down into 2 boxes, including this is the new Brotherhood of Venice. And then I kept the Tokyo as my second box. The big box I still have, just in case I like this and they release another game, then I'll put all this into the big box. But yeah, that's Assassin's Creed. You're moving around the map, trying to complete the missions. This one has to be played in scenario order. I don't think Earth Flashpoint does, and same thing, I backed all the new stuff for it. The next, because we can't get enough hidden movement style games, I have to move all this out the way, I did get V-Sabotage 2. That is the system that Assassin's Creed was originally based off of. Again, have all the minis and everything, so it's in that's why it's 2 boxes. I think that can be played as one-offs compared to Assassin's Creed. So that's why I don't know, again, which one would I rather keep, right? But the problem is, and again, it's a stupid problem. I shouldn't have this problem. Is I won't play the game until the minis are painted, right? So because the minis aren't painted, I won't play it. But now I have 2 sets of games that both need the minis painted, and if I don't like either one of them, what am I going to do? All right. And then on the bottom's My Father's Work in a baggie. Hello, baggie. We've talked about My Father's Work, or I talked about it again in my top games. It is a narrative worker placement where your actions from one generation to the next impact not only your worker placement in the future rounds, because you flip a storybook, but it impacts your capabilities and how much the people like you or dislike you. And so the whole story changes. So very well done. We played the first mission and the narrative was great. It is app-based. There is a guy who is actually modding it to make a ever-living version of the app, and I think that's good when people in the community can do that, as long as the publishers allow them to, because I think that's why people don't like app-assisted games, is there is a chance the app goes away, and if you can't download it, or whether it's a web-based download or a physical download, then the game becomes a big paperweight. But yeah, that's My Father's Work. We did miss 2 more, and we definitely can't miss these. One is Unsettled. So I did play Unsettled the other weekend, played 2 planets, royally got myself handed to myself, still really enjoy it. As you can see, I have chopped down my boxes. If that hurts your eyes, turn away now. I guess I should have done a turn away now before I showed you that. But if you notice, I can fit the box in every planet that's been released so far, with room for 1 more, which is Luna, because they just released the 12th planet, in 1 cubby, in 1 Kallax. This is basically the height of those specialty expansions. So if you want to know how to cut it, just take one of the specialty expansions, you'll know where to cut it. And then the other one is Ryozim. I heard this has a solo mode, even though this says 2 to 4 players. I don't remember much about how this plays. So I can't give you much info on Ryuzen. All right, we'll do a couple things that are up here on the counters, just so you guys, while I'm standing up, so because I've been down crouched under a table for a minute. This is Lord of the Rings, the LCG. It is the main game. It's the revised edition and the revised trilogy. That's it. That's all I have. That's all I ever planned to get. I tried playing it. I couldn't get into it. So maybe if I play the trilogy, maybe that will make me like it more. So if you guys want to see me do some content on it, just let me know, and I'll give it another shot. Behind that, of course, though, is Marvel Champions, which is the LCG I'd rather play. Marvel Champions, pick a boss, pick some modules to go with the boss, pick a hero, deck building if you want to build up your decks and optimize your decks and blah, 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 blah. I use a list built by a guy on BGG, because then every deck is already pre-built in here. Currently takes 2 of these, because everything's not sleeved yet. I'm sleeving as I play. So eventually I might have to go to a 3rd one of these. But that's Marvel Champions. Above Marvel Champions with the minis. I don't know if we're going to be able to see it without the minis. No. Here we go. This is 20 strong. This is my 20 strong box. So it has everything 20 strong that I own. Cloudspire will be coming. So that's probably when I'll bring it to the channels, once I get my Cloudspire box. But everything else, Tanglewood, everything else is in here. So if you want to see any of the current decks that I own played, then let me know. It's a dice chucker. You basically have a certain reserve of dice, 20 dice, and you need to optimize how you use them to take out whatever baddie is getting in your way. If you run out of dice, you lose. If you run out of hit points, you lose. And it's very challenging because most of the characters only have 3 or 2 hit points. So it's not like you have this great big hit point pool and you can just take damage. No, you have to take out the baddies that are in the lane. And each version of 20 Strong has different rules and basically a different theme, a different way that it plays. So there's a lot of variability in this system. So that's 20 Strong. All right, and then up here, just show you other shelves because you kind of saw them already down there. So I have another set of shelves. I have all Marvel United fits in this one tray. So it's everything Marvel United. I noticed there's a couple trays missing because you already saw them. They were already pulled out because, of course, I'm painting all of the minis. There's Galactus. He actually stands over here. The Sentinels are over there. And then this other side is everything. So it's a mismatch because originally I wasn't going to get Zombicide. So the Green Horde and all. So I went and picked up a lot of the Zombicide dragons and all that stuff on Aftermarket, just because I had the crossover cards, and then I ended up getting all Green Horde. So now I don't know what to do, because if I ever want to get rid of all the Green Horde and stuff, I still need all these guys. But that means when I sell it, they're not going to go along with. But yeah, this is all of the Massive Darkness minis. So this, while you see Zombicide in there, these were specifically bought and are set up here for Massive Darkness. And then, of course, these ones, I did put the magnets on them so they stick to the trays. All right, guys, we are down to the final cabinets. It's this big cabinet and a tiny one. I'm going to have fun trying to figure out how to show you guys everything in these. I'm still in the same room. This room is actually like an ensuite, like an in-law suite. So it's got like this kitchen, which really works for painting minis. Yokohama, I picked this up. I think I saw, was this one I saw a review? Yeah, I think I saw a review of this, so I immediately picked it up on Amazon for like 25 bucks, I think. Somebody said it was 25 bucks. And then somebody had the coins, I think for like 10 bucks. I picked up the coins. So this is basically the deluxe edition. I don't know much about it. I think you're building out the city of Yokohama. Ragnaroks we haven't played. I picked it up because it was from the designer. I think it was from the same designer as Santorini. So we figured we would like it. It's a kind of an area control game. You're putting out these rocks and trying to control areas. So an asymmetric game. Dune. This is Portal Games. It's a story game. I think it's like an investigative type game. It's kind of like an unlocked story type game. Holotype we played on the channel. This is a worker placement. You're digging to write research papers on dinosaurs. Alien Frontiers, I don't know enough to tell you anything about it. But yeah, Alien Frontiers. A lot of these that are in here were from that closing of that store. So a lot of these I got for like 10 bucks or less. Ishtar, same thing. I don't remember. I don't know anything about that. That was from that deal. Down in the back is Smartphone Inc. So that I actually did buy. It's a worker placement game where you're trying to run a, smartphone technology company. That's all I can tell you. All right. We have Kallax, 1803. Again, bought it from the closing store. Don't know much about it. Dust in the Wings, same. Don't know much about it. Tabs is like a party game, or tags. Don't know how it plays. Dice Settlers, again, Micho art and dice placement, so had to pick that one up. Moonshell we did on the channel. It is a pattern laying game where you're trying to collect different shells and things in the ocean to build a pattern to score points. Cactus Town was one of the very first Kickstarters I backed. It's been a long time. I really don't remember. Each one's going to have their own objective. I know there's a sheriff, there's the barmaid, there's like the robbers, right? And they each have their own thing they're trying to accomplish on a grid map. So yeah, cute. I mean, it's got minis. I say cute minis. It's got chibi, cartoony minis that need painted, which is, again, why it's here. So we have Collab. This, again, was a Kickstarter edition. I really cannot remember much about it. I think it was another one of those impulse. You just get baggies coming out of everywhere when you own board games. I think it was just one of those nice impulse type buys. But yeah, you're trying to roll. Yeah, okay. So it's dice, and you're trying to get resources to then fulfill objectives and make your potions and stuff. Starship Captains. This was. Ironically, I think this came out before there was that many like Star Trek games, and then they started, Paramount started giving out their license. But this is basically, I think, Star Trek in a box. Yeah, you're trying to explore strange new worlds and civilizations. It's got this neat little movement track, I think, where your troops, or how you get to use things. Again, it's been a long time since I got this. Fog, this was our final copy we got for the gameplay we did on it. You are trying to solve a puzzle to get as many people off of the island as possible before the fog comes in. Terminus, that is kind of heavy. I don't remember much about Terminus. I know you're building a structure, a city or something, for railway lines, for terminals. Cannot remember. And then I think all of that is, plastic baggies, Bard Song, more Bard Song. So I got the all-in Bard Song. I ended up getting the local legends. I got it, everything. Have not consolidated it down yet because I wasn't sure if I was going to keep it. They just had the new expansion, which is not really an expansion because it doesn't all incorporate together, which actually is kind of more of a turnoff for me, but also a revised rule set. And so if you backed any of the previous campaigns, which honestly I didn't back Bard Song or any of that, I backed the local legends, they will send you the full revised game. So, revised stuff that you need to fix the old game, to fix problems people had. But yeah, it's a dungeon crawler. It's just another dungeon crawler. All right, we're getting into the final cabinet. This is a little bit smaller cabinet, so it has a bunch of little tiny games in it. As usual, I probably have no idea what any of these are. Flow is, this came with Rewild South America, so it's for Triceratops. It is a tile laying game. We like tile laying point games, so this is a tile laying point game. San Juan, picked this up when we got Puerto Rico. I don't know much about it. It's a card game version, I guess, of some sort. Again, it's just a classic, so since they were doing a reprint, I grabbed it. Noble Run, I will probably get rid of this. I don't know if now I'm saying, I'm going to hold on to things for Lucita, but I don't think I will with this. It was a nice little project that somebody did. The art was cute and all. It is a deck builder where you're trying to accomplish objectives, and then it's got some of the Nobel winners, so you kind of learn a little bit about it, but there's nothing special about it, I guess. So Propopolis, Deep Dive, Point Salad, all these, all of your little AEG games, Point Salads, Point City, all that, exactly that. It's a point salad game. You're trying to combo points off of each other. Propolis, I don't know much about Propolis. I've heard it's not been getting very good reviews, but again, I got it when I got some of these others in a bundle. House Borgia, I don't know anything about that. This comes from Talon Strike Studios. And Gameling Games. So this, I think, was sent to us as a review copy. I don't know much about it, so I can't tell you anything about it. Walk in the Park is a game. It's a smaller version of the other park game I had in another video. You are basically just rolling a die, and then you're needing to walk through the park and draw patterns to get scores. Deep Dive, another AEG flat-out combo. Again, tile placement game, so that's most likely why I got it. I don't remember much about it. Pioneer Rails, again, I like Dorada games. This is a roll and write, or is it a flip and write? One or the other. And you're trying to connect certain things to get points based on like connecting the town to the gold mine and so forth. So this seemed really fun. I think it's flip and write because you have cards at the top. Another Dorada games, Lost Lumia. Same thing, I've heard this hasn't been doing well, but again, I got it because cute animals, cute art, and most of the Dorada games I don't have a problem with. The question is, like, is it good enough to stay around forever? Alphabet Stoop. So I talked about letter games and word games in one of the other videos about Audrey. She likes learning languages because, well, that's her major. She's a linguist. So figured to pick up anytime a interesting one. This one, you're trying to deliver packages to make words, and then if somebody else comes to deliver a package, they actually have to use all the letters that are there to make another word. Like, you can't remove letters. So it's kind of a nice little puzzle, but you do need to have a pretty good vocabulary, which I don't do well in. All right, so we have Sorcerer's Arena. So this is everything Sorcerer's Arena. Unfortunately, the app went away, so of course anything new for this game went away. This is just a team battle game. You each pick your team of your Disney characters, and you battle against each other with cards. Really neat. We've played pretty much every expansion that came out. We played on the channel, so there's plenty of gameplay to look at for this one. Captain's Chair. I got that because, well, it's Star Trek, and I want a good Star Trek game, and I don't have a good Star Trek game. So Captain's Chair, haven't played it. It's a deck building game, like deck building games, so this is probably going to be for me. I do have the 2 other expansions pre-ordered. I can either wait and play this once those expansions come, which may be around March. But if somebody wants to see gameplay before that, I could always bring it to the channel before then. Back in the back, we have Life of the Amazonia, which I think we've played on the channel. I can't remember what you're supposed to do, but I know it's got lots of animal meeples and a waterfall. Darwin's Journey, that is the collector's edition. I did back the new expansion. Basically, you are going on Darwin's journey and trying to fill out the field notes for evolution and animals, worker placement, points all over the place, whether you do one thing or another thing. It's probably the first heavier game I ever backed because it was when we... there we go, zoom in the back. There we go. Because of when we knew we liked worker placement. All right, and then we're getting down to the end. So Yucatan. So we helped Madagot on a pre-play. They didn't have us film it, but we played on TTS. It's a worker placement where you also have like, you can summon monsters or summon like mythical beings to help you take out your enemies. It's a weird game of scoring points by doing offerings to the gods. Endless Winter, this came out about the same time as a lot of the other worker placement / deck builder games, so that's why we bought it. I actually still need to paint these minis for somebody, and I need to paint my own. And then the last game, yes, is Nestlings. So Nestlings, don't remember how it plays. I think you just think of it as another Wingspan game. That's what I'm going with. All right, and then the last thing up here with my hats is our Legendary games. So these are the 2 boxes with Marvel Legendary, and then this is just extras. It's like play mats, rule books, all that in there, but all my Marvel Legendary is there. Okay guys, that is all of our games, every room, every place. Let me know in the comments, what game should I play on the channel? What game should I just call? Should I not even open it? Don't even play it, not worth my time. That's Bella wanting to go to the bathroom. So until next time guys, peace.